clicked it now. Yes, and hello. This is Treya, and welcome to the Real Estate Apostle channel, where you can ask Treya anything you want. Get this here timing just perfectly. There we go. Perfect. All right. So, thank you. Welcome to the Real Estate Apostle channel, where I'm passionate about helping middle-aged adults like myself overcome the fear of leaving behind the comfort of your six-figure job to start a business or to be your own person, to heal, basically. And I'm eager to help my fellow Gen Xers get off of this working class treadmill to overcome and change our mindsets to believe that we can and we are responsible for achieving our own dreams. So let's get started. Today, we're going to be talking again about Derrick Jaxn, who was caught cheating again. Derrick Jaxn caught cheating again. So for those of you who don't know me, I quit my six-figure job as a registered nurse 2 years ago to start this journey. And I've been documenting my journey along the way. I've tried many different things, and I've been able to link all of this back down to childhood trauma, which is what is the driving force behind most of these things. So the reason why I was interested in this Derrick Jaxn case is because maybe about 2 years ago, he was out there. Again, let me just date myself too to say I'm 52, so I have a lot of wisdom along with these 30 years of nursing experience. And with nursing, we have a lot of psychology and different things like that. So my goal is, as an advocate for people, is to bring awareness to abuse and abusive personality traits, such as narcissistic personality disorders. So people can be aware of these abusive traits and ensure that you don't get entangled with one and have to go through something as humiliating as this. Poor Derrick Jaxn is going through. Jaxn is going through. So before we get started, I'm going to go over the 4 stages of narcissism. Well, I think maybe first I'll shock y'all with a little video here. We're going to go way back when it all started. We're going to watch the very first video of this whole of the whole thing, of how it all got started 2 years ago. I believe it was in 2020. Let's see, is this it here? No. All right, so just bear with me for 1 minute to make sure I get this thing right here. I think this is it. Let's see. No, this is not it. I'm working on it, y'all. It's just me anyway. So let's see here. How about this? Yeah, this might be it. No, that is not it for sure. Yeah. Okay, here we go. I'm sorry, y'all. Here we go. We're going to just go on and go for this one here. Yeah, this is it too. Perfect. All right. So this here is the very first one. The very first one when it all got started. So this happened 2 years ago. So let me share the screen with you. Then we're going to break down. Like I said, first I'm already identifying him as, having narcissistic personality traits, and we know that the narcissists have these cycles that they go through. And I just want to show y'all how, he went through the cycles, and it's exactly what he's supposed to do right now by humiliating his wife and, going through this very public affair and divorcing her like that for somebody who's totally opposite, who's totally not anything like her. It's done to be more painful. These narcissists are notorious for really wanting to hurt you when they discard you. So we're gonna share the screen here. Oops. And I wish I could, if somebody was out there, they could tell me how my volume sounds. I broke my microphone before I got started here, and it's kind of just, play in here, so I don't know. Let's see how this is going to sound.
Oh. Wife, and we just wanted to
okay, oh, I forgot. I just missed it right there.
Some of you
y'all may not have saw it. Let me just zip it back a little bit because he smirked. And the narcissists are notorious for these narc smirks. Okay, so we about to start it now. All right, so let's even this little still scene here. She kind of got a look of, you can see some pain in her face, and this guy's already holding back his laughter.
Derrick Jaxn here, and today
you see it? He did it right there. Derrick Jaxn here, and he did a little quick narc smirk right there.
I am joined by my lovely wife.
My lovely wife. Yeah, he know what time it is. And she put on a little fake smile here, trying to muster it up. And look at how he's holding her, y'all. Y'all see that? See that right there? How he's holding her? She's kind of like almost pulling away, but he's like grabbing her in an abusive type of, you my property type of, sit down here and do this type of a thing here. Very aggressive energy there. He's, yeah. I saw the smirk.
And we just want to address a couple of things. We understand that some of you may have already heard, maybe not. That this chapter of our marriage is one that was preceded by a marriage that I completely failed.
He almost burst into laughter there too. I hope you saw that. And look at her. She like cutting her eyes like, See that? Behind those glasses, you can see her cutting her eyes at him. She, is looking like, you lying. Look at here. See that?
I would say it just started around August, maybe September of last year.
Yeah.
But, a lot has been said already about what was the cause and all that other stuff. Some of it is true. Some of it is completely false. But the truth is, and I'm saying it here now, is that Derrick Jaxn was involved.
Wow. Okay. So he just, he removed himself from it. And it's Derrick Jaxn who is the person who is responsible for all this stuff here. But look at the grip he's got on this hand, on the wife's hand here. And still her face. Look at there. Pain.
Well, with other women.
He probably made her feel guilty to show up for this.
I'm not talking about just casually kicking it, maybe a lunch or something like that. I'm talking about as serious as sex.
And he's getting pleasure out of telling on himself here. And she's got to sit there and listen to this. So here's part of the devaluation here, right? So he had to have hoovered her back in because we are here in present day with her looking even more beat down and more gaslit up, and sending out curses and going through a whole different other array of emotions and stuff. So this is strategic here. Like he knows this is abuse, but to people that's just looking in, it don't look like abuse, right? But when they come and grab your shoulder real hard when in front of other people, they giving you the squeeze, and you better sit there and act the right way. This here is right there.
To sexual flirtation and meeting up and that kind of thing. And some things that otherwise may be considered okay by some.
See how you try to minimize it right there? Like otherwise might be okay with this. You know what I mean? You tripping, like for real. Otherwise, like they'll be cool with this. I could get away with this, but you tripping and all that stuff. Cause the little stuff that I'm doing, I'm just talking to some friends. They just friends and stuff, Otherwise be cool with it, but you tripping. Ha!
In terms of like just chatting or checking on people or being checked on by people that I've had a previous encounter with, but without my wife.
But see her taking that breath right there, she's upset because he's just trying to paint this lie and got me down here co-signing for you.
Knowledge of it, and with us having a sexual history, all of it falls under the umbrella of inappropriate, cheating, affair, stepping out. Definitely not in alignment with the vows that I took, and definitely not in alignment with the biblical standard of what it means to be faithful, which is the standard that I'm going by now. Now, I'm saying this publicly, not because I'm, married to you guys. First and foremost, I'm accountable to God. Then I have to be accountable to my wife, in which we've already had this conversation. I've already told her literally everything.
Oh, she tried to pull up a little smile there. So he probably really fed her some real good bologna sandwich.
Everything. I'm giving her basically a roll call list. If I've said hello to a woman.
She like, yeah, he did.
In the last 12 years of me knowing her, she knows about it. But now that it's been made so public, it's important that I first off let you guys.
All right, so now he already admitting right there to being a serial cheater, right? So it's kind of important. Now I'm going to go ahead and show just the cycle. I'm going to show a quick cycle graph of this here, of the cycle, so you can see how he's going through it, right? Okay, let me just grab these little stages real quick. Here it is. All right, let me share this, and then we'll get back to that video, but this is super important. All right, so really there are only 3 stages of the narcissistic abuse cycle. And this fourth one, Hoover, you have a choice. If you can avoid this, then you could eliminate getting part of this here little circle here. So the first stage is the idealization, or some people call it love bombing. This is when they, really giving it to you. Most people really fall for this because this is when they're seducing you, and they are experts at seduction, right? Because you may want to think like, why would a good lady, like a good woman like that, get with a guy like that? Like, he's a serial cheater. This ain't nothing new. He's been a serial cheater. So you would think like, how are they matching up like that? So a lot of these narcissists target women like that, right? So then after they idealize you and put you all on this big pedestal, the next step is right here in the devalue you, right? And they can do all kind of things to devalue, like right here, him publicly getting caught with this affair. This is forms of devaluing his wife, right? He's devaluing her, he's abusing her, he's going through the cycle. And then the discard. At that time, back in 2020, the wife had actually filed, and he probably, went back to the idealization stage to get her to, stop, so he can be the one in charge, because they like to be the ones to do the discard. They don't like for you to escape. They want to be the one to break up with you. All right, so devalue, discard, and then Hoover. And the Hoovers comes from the term of, the vacuum, because they want to suck you back into the relationship. And then they start this whole abuse cycle back over again. And most of the time, if they Hoover you, this here idealization part, you don't get to see that no more. You go directly back into devalue, discard. Get Hoovered directly back into devalue, discard, because what happens is when this Hoover happens, it takes the place of this here idealization, because when they're Hoovering you, that's when they're being real nice to you, trying to make up with you, maybe buying you things, or taking you on trips, or doing things to, please forgive me, take me back type stuff. So that's why they don't go back onto this. The idealization and the Hoover actually are kind of interchangeable. It's just considered idealization in the beginning because it's new, right? So then after that, here's back to the 3. So it's technically just three stages. It's just that these terms are different. So if you can avoid this Hoover, once they discard you, that's your opportunity to get out of there. So if you are in a relationship with narcissism and you're being discarded right now, just be quiet and just let it happen. Just let it go, because that's going to give you enough time to, get far away. And by the time they go back to try to Hoover you, you would have had enough distance to deal with the emotions that it, takes to get through breaking up or, getting discarded by one of them. It's totally not a fun experience. They are. I thank y'all for coming in and giving that like. I appreciate that. People. So let's get back over up in here. I just wanted to break up into there because to show y'all where they're at in the cycle, right? So he's Hoovering right now. He's trying to get her to make sure she stay. And yeah, Misha. Trying to get her to make sure she stay.
No, I do not stand by those actions. I don't want to encourage anybody to do that. And then secondly, I know that I cannot build a platform preaching certain things, preaching against certain things, and then in my real life live contrary to that for any amount of time or any length.
All right, so he said for any amount of time. So he's basically telling on himself, y'all. That's why he's so good at this, because he's just telling on himself. And the way he's able to be effective at doing it is because he talking to himself in the third person, like, Derrick did, and Derrick did this, and, so it makes it easy for him to do this. It's very clever, these narcissists, with these wordplay and stuff.
At the time to any extent and think that I can't be held accountable. The same way that I preach, men and women in this situation need to face consequences. Actions, deserve to be held accountable. Guess what? Derrick Jaxn's no exemption. He's not exempt from that. I'm also not a victim. Nobody made me do this. She didn't make me or push me to do it. The next person didn't make me. No friend influenced me. It don't matter how I was raised and what trauma, whatever. Look, I made decisions. I made a series of decisions.
Wow.
I got to account for it. There's no.
I saw this, a few years ago when it first came out, but after a while, it just kind of faded. I didn't really watch it. But now watching it all these years later, because at that time I knew, then I was just like, okay, this is serial cheater, typical narcissist, this is what they do. And I didn't even keep up with what happened with them, if they got back together or nothing. I just thought, his career was over, and I never heard anything else about him up until, I guess a few days ago or a week or whatever, this thing here that just popped back off again. So just looking at this video now to see the pain and anguish in her face, it's I feel bad for her, especially now knowing what she looks like now and what type of mental stuff she's going through. These narcissists are notorious for doing this crazy making behavior to drive people to this. No
excuse or justification. I've already made that bed and have had to lie in it. And now we're finally getting on to the other side personally in our own healing and our own marital oneness. And now this is being made public to you guys. So we're bringing that forth to you guys to let you know where we're at with that. But did you want to say anything?
Yes. So I do want to just add that I agree with what you just said. There is no justification for bringing other women into our marriage on any level. And it was unacceptable. And it's not something that I tolerate or that we tolerate moving forward.
All right. So, okay, I missed it, y'all, but it was some signs there too.
And when I've been flooded.
Look, he's smirking. He just like, yeah, you got something to say. So he just, because he knows that he's getting away with this, and he's just having less respect for her, and he's in the inside raging. He is mad that he's got to actually put up this front and talk this stuff, and now she's talking like she's got some type of something. This ain't something I'm gonna put up with and all this stuff, and he doesn't have any respect for her. You can see
it again with messages and these things, and about I need to leave, or why haven't I left? And the answer is, when I found out about it, I left. I did not hesitate or waste time to do so, and I stayed gone. No matter how many times he came, I stayed gone.
Okay, so you see that? He came. So that means she letting us know that he was trying to hoover her. He was hoovering her, right? She said she left. And a lot of times these victims, immediately they'll leave. And like I've said before, a victim will leave up to 7 times and come back and return back to an abusive, toxic situation before they finally get the strength to leave and go, stay gone, get out of there and stay gone and don't come back, Wow. See, she's telling everything right there. I'm telling y'all, these are simple cycle steps. The thing is that you just got to get the mental strength to stick to it and get out of there and do the work on yourself to heal, right? You got to heal, and then that way you'll be a lot better and not have to go back to this, because this is bad. So she had the strength to leave in the beginning. He hoovered her back up in there
and stood firm on, I am not coming back. And I did not come back until
y'all look at his face though. Look at his face. Look at his face.
Seen a shift and a change in his mentality and how he carried himself.
Look, he can hardly keep the laugh off.
Presented himself in conversations that we were able to have.
That's what they'll do. They'll just keep changing their mask.
Just 12 years of knowing each other. And when we were able to have these dialogues, said, okay, Lord, this is something that you've had your hand on. And this was with me being completely removed from his life. And him pursuing God, continuing to pursue God, continuing to eliminate these things that led up to the.
He don't believe none of that. Look how angry he's looking at her, y'all. You see that face? He's pissed. He is pissed. Because these narcs feel like they should be able to do this. They should be able to treat you like this, and you should take it.
I don't already know about or haven't known about. And so this is not something that is new. We have moved forward from it. We have gotten counsel for it and continue to do so. He is still continuing to pursue God and continuing to seek.
Well, we're not going to watch all of it. This is here super
myself
old.
Included. And for those who are going to continue to support, man, I appreciate you like never before, because I know it's not going to be easy going forward, at least for a little while.
At least for a little while. Like, he knows he's going to be back, right? He's coming back, at least for a little while. Then we see he's back from outer space.
So many things are still fresh and attached to my name. But for everybody out there, if you get nothing else from what I've ever said over the last 9 years or right here in this video, please get this. Nothing is right until it is right with God. Nothing works until it comes into alignment with biblical standard of how God told us to do things, especially.
Look at this. She is hurt. Hurt. And he probably used the whole Bible thing to guilt her and to stand, right? Because she said she left. And she's probably so hurt and disappointed herself for coming back because she know in her heart that this guy is bad. This guy is bad.
When we're talking about a marital, spiritual covenant, you know, you cannot do this by your own understanding, your own intelligence, your own willpower, your own values. You have to have the grace of God to break free from certain things.
All right, enough is enough. All right, so that was the foundation that kind of came up for us 2 years ago, this whole thing. And, you know, so apparently they had patched it back up. At that time, you know, we just heard her say that she left. And then she actually did try and file for a divorce, but he probably worked super hard to get her to retract it. And that's why, you know, he's now doing his thing. Because like I showed y'all in that, the cycle, if they don't get the opportunity to discard you and you break up with them first, you leave them first, you know, beat them to the discard, that is the biggest narc injury for them. And they will, you know, forever try to hoover you back so they could, you know, break up with you. They're petty, like little kids, you know, so they'll go through great measures to, you know, get you to believe that they are going to, you know, be nice and that they really do love you and all that stuff to get you to come back. And then once you come back, then, you know, it's all over. It's right immediately almost into the devaluation process, so much to where he goes out and gets one of these IG, you know, Instagram, Insta booty, Insta hips, Insta body person out there, you know, totally opposite from his wife. And these narcissists are notorious for that. They do that on purpose just so it'll hurt you more, because you'll be thinking like, well, shoot, she, you know, I know she don't hold a candle to me, but they'll do it on purpose just so it'll be more painful, right? He once he recognized he's gonna, you know, if he's for these last couple of years, we just now hearing about it. This ain't his first rodeo. He been cheating since this whole thing. He never stopped. Somebody just, you know, put it out there, because she had already been. Sometimes, most of the time, when these narcissists cheat with somebody, they are putting a battery in the back of the mistress to get her to go attack the wife. They're telling that mistress that they've been abused, that the wife is crazy, the girlfriend or the wife is crazy. They say the same lines, right? And then they do this crazy making behavior to make you respond, so then you actually do appear crazy. Because when they were playing the one video of her sending out the curses, that's going to be the next one I'm going to play. I just want y'all to see what she's looking like now, when she was still, you know, in her strength as a strong woman, strong Black woman. Like, she's a strong woman. She, you know, kickboxing and, you know, educated, and, you know, she's a good solid woman, right? And she was doing the right thing at that time. But when you come back to an abusive, toxic situation, it's only a matter of time where it's going to drain you and just tear you down, right? To where she's now erupting on people, sending curses out to people, kind of touching the Bible scriptures, but, really turning them around to, bring out a very provocative spirit. Like it was not good though. But we don't know how much pressure she's been under, how many mistresses or women he's been fooling around with been calling her, blowing up her inbox, calling her names, just doing all kind of stuff because they feel like they doing something to take her man or something. It's some real wicked women out there too. So, but he's enjoying that because has orchestrated this kind of stuff. He's orchestrated stuff. He's telling her one thing that these people, the women are probably throwing themselves at him. It's not his fault. They keep throwing them. Everybody want him, and he's a very attractive man. Most of these narcissists are very attractive too. So they really play on that. And, so that's why you got to be aware, super aware. Okay. So the next video is going to be, okay, this is the current thing now, talking about them splitting up.
Hey, everyone.
Ooh, I'm so sorry. I beg your pardon. All right. Oh. Oops.
In a hypergamous perspective and a feminine perspective about Mr. Weirdo, car videos, and the unfaithful and disloyal husband and the lie-telling charlatan.
Black men don't cheat. So is that a statement, a commandment, or a question? What is that about?
And fraudster, the relationship guru, Mr. Derrick Jaxn, who panders to love-starved women, who decided to pull out a reverse Uno card by putting the final.
This here video is from Chloe. All right. And it's entitled, Splitsville, Why Derrick Jaxn is Divorcing Miss Fire and Brimstone. I love the title. That is so cute. Yeah, she was coming pretty hard.
In the 2022 coffin of his sanctified and Holy Ghost-filled marriage to Mrs. Praytell Derrick Jaxn. Now, Derrick Jaxn, and for those of you who don't know who Derrick Jaxn is, please check out my video about his dysfunctionally hypocritical brand and his initial cheating scandal, where his placeholder wife basically stood by her man's side in public while he was outed for publicly cheating on his wife with Thottimus Primes. Now, again, Derrick Jaxn is clearly in the midst of ego tripping, and if anything, probably expected his wife and the internet to let him cheat in peace. But once again, he decided to grace our December 2022 bingo cards by letting the world know that he made the toughest decision to file for divorce.
See, that lets you know that he did this on purpose. He wanted to get caught. He wanted to humiliate his wife with this whole situation.
From his fire of a marriage, and from his wife and the mother of his child, Derrick Jaxn, who has
surprise, right? When she was on the other side of it and calling for the divorce, now he can say, "Look, she crazy. That's why I'm getting out of here." Wait till you see what she's getting ready to do, right? Look at her. He just
recent as a few weeks ago was in a car video hexing folks on some very misdirected anger, mean-spirited Minnie Mouse BS by defending her marriage and by putting the quote-unquote garden tools who are involved with trying to destroy her marriage on blast and on notice by unfortunately weaponizing scripture. But take a listen for yourself.
Every person speaking against the names Derrick Jaxn and Derrick Jaxn in mockery, accusations, slanders, and lies, may the mercies of God be withdrawn from you. May your husbands and wives become widows. Let your children become fatherless. Let your seed become vagabonds on the earth. Let the words of your mouth and your words of your hands be returned back to you. Let it go down your throat and choke you slowly until your days become few on the earth. The word of God says, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. You've been warned. And if you want to know where that is at in the Bible, go to Psalm 109, go to Psalm 35, go to Psalm 140, go to Psalm 141, and keep our names out of your mouth in the name of Jesus. Have a blessed day.
Now, in spite of all of the holy roller craziness, and in spite of this louse and this scoundrel's dysfunction and his corrupted low character, I could never pray or wish on the downfall of anyone's marriage. But I cannot say that I didn't see the writing on the walls of Jericho with this one, because simply put, Derrick Jaxn and his ego is on his demon time and is in the midst of entertaining his lust and his dark side, and simply put, at this point in time, is not mature enough to be a committed, loving.
You can see the play in his face there. Poor little thing. Oh,
husband. I believe these two married as broke childhood sweethearts, but as a husband, he is completely out of order.
Yeah. And that's why, y'all, I really don't even think we're supposed to be trying to do this whole mated up type of living in, but not, most men aren't going to be able to stay faithful anyway. There's a good percentage of them that are serial cheaters, or they don't even look at it as cheating, right? So if you're coming into these relationships disillusioned, thinking that 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 is cheating or something like that, when it's, like I said, a lot of them won't even acknowledge it as cheating. So it's like we're coming in with two different ideas and thoughts of it. And, that's why I'm saying, like, the statistics for these divorces and stuff is just too high. It's like, even you millennials are choosing not to get married and choosing not to have children. It's extremely smart. Good for y'all. I'm proud of y'all for being smart enough to see this whole BS. Yeah, because look at her, all young and fresh face and stuff, but you can look at him. Yep, and she just poor little innocent little something there.
Because he's gotten comfortable enough to enjoy the spoils of his car guru success.
Yeah.
He's feeling himself, and as my grandma would say, he is smelling himself. And meanwhile, his soon-to-be ex-wife, Danae, just seems to be so oblivious and naive towards everything because she wasn't seeing the big picture or the forest for the trees.
And she been gaslit to where she's, like I said, these narcissists will target you with the abuse to try to drive you insane, so they'll have some validity to their story that they're telling everybody already that you're crazy. Just think about it. If you have known anybody that has been in a relationship with a narcissist, what's the first thing they say? That the ex is crazy, right? It's the same thing. That's why they do it, because they have to just go through the same little robotic stuff. They got to go through this cycle. They can't check.
Derrick Jaxn has that popular look that a lot of women and Black women are physically attracted to. Mm-hmm. So I am sure that his DMs are flooded. Yeah. His ego got gassed, and his desire for worship outside of his family is what ultimately brought down this marriage's downfall.
Wait, what? Black women stay winning. Oh my goodness. Okay. Hey, all right. That's pretty smart though.
Filing for divorce right now at the end of the year, although it may not seem like it to Danae, seems to be the best course of action, so that at a minimum, he can be free to drop the facade of being a capable husband, and that so he can be free to do him and to stop the wrecking ball of continuing to publicly humiliate his wife. Now,
but he's not going to do that, because he's getting glee, he's getting joy out of this, right? This is payback from 2020 when he was sitting on the other side of the couch, all nervous, trying to, tell his story and all this stuff. And he had to, sit your behind right here and tell the story and do this stuff. So for all that energy that she had him putting out to, save the face from 2020, this is the payback. This is the payback. And narcissists will take a long time. They don't care if it takes them 2 years to get you back. They getting you back. So he was probably making her feel just as secure and happy in this relationship. I'm fighting for it. Baby, let's, we gonna work this out. We can't be listening to these other people. They just jealous. They don't, they just jealous because they ain't got what you got and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, now, when you're at your lowest point, when you have been beaten up by all these women that I have sicked on you, all of my flying monkeys, and social media dogging you out, and now you're paying a big price because people weren't happy with your curses that you were sending out there, and people aren't, trying to understand, where you're coming from. People are just gonna be in their feelings and be like, hey, who you talking to? Need to be checking your man. All right, so let's go and finish back on with this here.
As for Mrs. Fire and Brimstone and her cliched sanctimoniousness, and yes, feathers are going to be ruffled by what I am about to say, but this divorce is going to be a very painfully long and arduous road for her to travel, because she reminds me, and this is my opinion, of those women whose only point of reference is being raised by her male-identified grandma in the church. From a womanhood perspective, yes, Danae is a beautiful woman, but she gives me sheltered woman vibes and acts and carries herself like a woman who's never made it past her front porch in terms of life experience. And that makes me kind of sad for her and her bonnet of salvation. And I do have to talk about the so-called good church girl trope and their overall narrow point of reference that is very common with sheltered church women, who are often groomed to have that low-hanging fruit mindset where men are the prize. And in many cases, and of course, before you blow a gasket, this is not all church homes, but in many cases, many church women are groomed to be quote unquote pure, to turn a blind eye to abuse, to be self-sacrificing, and more importantly, to believe that they are better than loose women, worldly women, fast girls, women who sleep around, women who are out there, and women who are labeled by men as promiscuous. And this indoctrination almost always turns...
And this be the same women that they be cheating with. I'm sorry, or doing with their thing they say it's not cheating.
into a very rigid and a very nasty stereotype, as these are the kind of church girls that are notoriously known for being sanctimonious, finger-wagging, pious, and can be very self-righteous and narrow-minded. So Danae's car rant, where she weaponized scripture, seemed to be more reflective of how desperate she had become to save her broken marriage. I mean, Danae and her no-limit soldier helmet of salvation really looked like she was having a nervous breakdown in 4K.
Exactly. And that's exactly what's happening. Like I said, we need to be putting up some solid energy for her to stay protected, because a lot of times these abusers be driving people to do some insane stuff, like, deleting themselves and stuff like that. And they just be standing around at the funeral knowing full well that they're responsible for it and laughing and smirking on the inside, Can you imagine? I couldn't even imagine the type of humiliation she must feel, especially after you was strong enough to leave when it first happened 2 years ago. You was out of there. You wasn't going to invest any more time, but you listened to him. That's why you got to stop listening to these abusers and stuff. Don't listen to them when they've done something abusive and you leave. Do not listen to them. Don't listen to them, because they're just trying to hoover you back to abuse you more. Now she's out there sending curses at other people who's trying to warn her, because she's been so abused. She's got like the Stockholm syndrome. She don't see it anymore. Poor thing. Yeah, you can see the signs of abuse on her.
And for some, it may make for good comedy, but sorry to this woman. But the Bible is not to be played with as a weapon. And you got to be also very careful about the hole that you dig for others, because you just might end up falling into that hole yourself. As for Derrick Jaxn, I am sure that his DMs look like a slot machine, as there will never be a shortage of poverty mindset, male-identified pick-me's who will continue to support him, who will continue to desire his attention, even after knowing what he's done and continues to do. As women will always be competitive and comparative and forever.
And then keep in mind, these narcissists really, really target people and seduce them. I'm sure the one little Instagram, if we take a peek at her face, you can see in her face, she probably believes she's in love and she's found her soulmate. That's why she's telling the wife off, because we in love and you ain't gonna be able to stop it, right? That's how she's feeling, because that is the seed that he's sown in her head, right? That's what they do.
In competition for the male gaze. And I am sure that there are plenty of Thottimus Prime girlies who will be more than willing to compete to be wife number 2, even after the very public placeholder dragging of wife number 1.
Yep.
As for Denia being cheated on and having everyone and their internet play cousins know about it while sticking beside your man and wearing that embarrassing helmet of salvation only to have your man file for divorce during the holidays is both heartbreaking and devastating. And yes, she's an attractive woman, but she is hella sheltered and she needs tremendous help with her self-awareness, like yesterday. And like all things painful, hopefully this divorce will put her on a path towards healing, self-improvement, and a much-needed self-care vacation and a self-esteem makeover. Wow. Well, ladies, do not ever sit by...
Wow. Excuse me. Yeah, I really feel bad for her because you can see the mental decay that she's gone through since 2020.
A man's side while he is publicly humiliating you. And always know that a man is supposed to love you more than you love him. Otherwise, you risk the chance of your...
People getting love mixed up. You cannot love anybody unless you love yourself first, right? Because if you focus on trying to love somebody else, this is what's going to happen. I always say, when you get on the airplane, they always tell you to put your mask on first before you try to help the person next to you. And that's because without oxygen, you're going to pass out. So what if you're passed out trying to help them, they're going to pass out and then nobody's going to get any help. So you have to take care of yourself first. If you're loving yourself, there's no way that you will allow somebody to treat you this way. You wouldn't. In the beginning, she did love herself, but after you have been subjected to abuse after abuse after abuse, you start to lose the love for yourself and you become, you start to accept being a victim. You accept it. Uh-oh. One more time, y'all. I got a cough. Mute. Okay, thank you.
Man treating you like placeholder loose change. Now, from a hypergamous point of view, if Denia could collect child support and alimony, if Mr. Jaxn was indeed the breadwinner of the family, that would be a halfway great consolation prize. But something about her energy, and this is my opinion, but something about her energy is giving 50-50 plain Jane helpmate. And when you are a 50-50 helpmate, when your man files for divorce, it makes the divorce even more painful. Because not only was he saving his money to spend on the loose women that he convinced you that he would never be interested in, but when you are a man's 50-50 helpmate, now you are in a position where you can't collect anything substantially financial for your pain, humiliation, and suffering. So I truly do hope and pray that Mrs. Glasses did not build and financially pour into and invest into this fraudster. So ladies and lurkers, to get this conversation started.
I don't think so. Only because, he's big with social media. People in the social media is making a lot of money out. Even, this YouTube. Hence, there's a course if you want to learn how to do this YouTube. But so I don't think that maybe in the beginning could have been doing a 50-50. But I'm pretty positive he was at least able to pull his own weight with his social media. I think he's like got almost 1 million subscribers, like over 700,000 subscribers. So he's got to have some type of income coming in, from his works. He works hard on his. Actually, we're gonna go watch one of his little shorts because the two that I did find to pick out were pretty interesting. He's kicking some total truth knowledge up in here, and they make sense. So let's go ahead and check out his site, his little website. I mean, not website, but his little YouTube site here, so we can give a little check to.
Do not confuse a man who is interested with a man who is prepared for you. Just because a man wants you from the bottom of his heart doesn't mean that he's ready for you. Like, an interested man can show you that he wants you, but a prepared man can prove that he values you. Because he knows, like, as a woman, if you lit, it's a lot of dudes who want you, but it's his value on you that's going to set him apart. And an interested man only wants to know what you can do for him, but a prepared man always wants to know how he can invest in you.
because he knows that yield from his investment is going to be greater than whatever it is you would have given him to begin with. And an interested man can make room in his schedule for y'all to hang out and have some fun, but a prepared man wants to make room in his life to integrate you so the two of you can level up together. Like, there's a difference. And I'm not saying that an interested man is a bad person, because honestly, interest is the first level for everybody. But if you don't make sure that you're also the type of woman that a man must come prepared for, you're going to end up the type of woman that an interested man gets to play with.
Wow.
Do not confuse a man who is.
Now, I'm not sure about y'all, but it sounds like grooming, right? When he's saying all this stuff, right? Sounds like grooming. So, all right. So anyway, I'm going to the next video, but I wanted to show y'all that because this is all part of the conditioning when they tell you this kind of stuff. You notice how you had the little music on, it sounds so good, and unfortunately, a lot of women have been conditioned to desire to hear this kind of baloney garbage. So let's see here. This is my next one. Oh yeah, this one's a really good one here. This one's funny here. Uh-oh. Where am I? Oh, here we go.
You feel, or where the relationship is heading, or when it'll finally get there, or she's not going to guess if you're interested in her, or if you can reciprocate her level of interest, because guessing is too close to gambling. And once the woman has done that with her heart, she's already learned the hard way it's not worth the risk. So she's not going to do it again. Like, it's one thing if a woman just wants you for your money or your status or how you look. Like, you.
Now, this is all good information, all true, right? He done made the distinction here. So, ladies, we need to be listening because you
could be inconsistent with that type of woman.
Wow.
Because honestly, she's already getting what she wants out of the deal. But when it comes to a good woman, that stuff is cool, but she's not impressed by that. Like, the only thing on her mind is to love and to build. And she knows it's emotionally dangerous to do that with a man who only knows how to play and damage. So if you want to lose a good woman's interest, make her guess about what your true intentions are.
And then y'all hear that? So he's saying that he's not the type of person that's going to be good for a good woman, right? Who wants to play and, do all this stuff. That's him, right? So he's telling you the right stuff, but, he's just doing the opposite of do as I say. I keep showing y'all my goods here. Get on out there. That's how I do it here. I just go find some clips, put some things on here, and then we take peeks at these videos and break them down. So those were the two shorts there. And let me see here. As far as the the cycle of abuse, I'm just going to read a few snippets of that from the actual narcissistic personality disorder, so we can see how the cycle must continue. The cycle never ends too. And that's the other thing too. Like, once you recognize that you're with them, the best thing that you can do to get your freedom is just wait for them to discard you, because they're going to do it. They're going to have to do it because they can't help but to stay off into the cycle. So once they discard you, and you're going to be an emotional mess anyway. You're going to be an emotional mess because you're going to be like, I can't believe this just happened to me. How did this happen? I must look like a complete stupid fool to everybody because everybody was saying, look, no. And I was blind. I couldn't see it. So once they do that, that'll give you opportunity to go somewhere far where they can't reach you. During that time, you need to block them from everything, block them from any type of way to be able to contact you, because after, so many days, sometimes it'd be like 10, 15 days. Some of them may go longer depending on how long you were in that relationship with them. But eventually they're going to come back around to hoover you because, in their mind, you belong to them. You're still their property. Like, just like a kid with toys, right? When you get the new toys on Christmas, back in my day, we used to play with toys and stuff. Not sure if y'all play with, anyway, toys. We had a toy box where you put your toys up in there, right? when you get the new toys, you didn't necessarily throw away the old toys, but you didn't play with them at the time because you was busy playing with your new toys. But eventually you're going to get tired of the new toy, and then you're going to remember how much fun you had when you was playing with that old toy. So you're going to go back in the toy box so you can get that old toy, retrieve that old toy, which is you, and play with it again, right? Let's play kick the can with the heart, right? So that's why it's important during that time when they have discarded you to block them. So when they try to hoover you back, you won't be available to think like, oh, because you're going to be so emotionally wrecked that you may consider taking them back because you just want the pain to stop, And like I said, they do things to get you addicted to them. So you'll start to have like withdrawals when, they're not around and stuff like that. And this is all done on purpose just to get you all messed up when they kick you to the curb, because that's what they're going to do for real. All right. All right. So let's see. Our next selection is going to be, I did the 2 shorts that I wanted to do on there. Now I'm going to get, someone else's take on it, since we saw from the past and in the future. And so now we're going to see what. Oh, okay. I'm going to play this little quick video kind of breaking down the whole narcissistic personality disorder. So we're going to do that first, and then we're going to go to, we're going to go to our next video after this little quick from a psych hub here, because I think it's super important that we understand it too from the real point of it. So here is play. Here we go.
Narcissistic personality disorder is one of 10 personality disorders in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders published by the American Psychiatric Association. In general, a personality disorder is defined by a long-term presence of internal experiences and external behaviors that differ greatly from the norm of an individual's society and culture. These experiences and behaviors are consistent no matter the situation, do not change much over time, and cause the individual distress. Personality disorders impact the way people think, feel, relate to others, and behave. They can negatively impact the ability to succeed at work or school and be a barrier to maintaining healthy relationships. When it comes to narcissistic personality disorder, or NPD, these are some of the most notable and defining symptoms. A grandiose sense of their own importance, shown by a tendency to exaggerate or brag about achievements and attempt to impress others or seem superior. A need for significant amounts of attention and admiration from others. A lack of empathy, or being unable or unwilling to consider or acknowledge the needs and feelings of other people. In addition, people may have unrealistic fantasies about or high opinions of their own status. Beauty, talent, intelligence, and ability to achieve fame, fortune, and power.
So, he was all par for court on that, right? The social media is like the narcissist playground. That's why it's super important to be smart when you're on social media platforms, because it's their hunting grounds, right? So, and they thrive in that because they like the admiration, and to them there's some fame and all that stuff. So you have to be careful, especially on these little date sites and all those kind of things. They use any type of social media as a mating place.
They may also have an unrealistic or idealized standard for love. This could be related to a belief that they are special and of high status, so only people and organizations who are also special and high status can relate to and associate with them. People living with NPD may have a sense that they are entitled to special treatment or have unrealistically high expectations of people and situations. They tend to take advantage of and even harm other people in order to get their own needs met. They may be envious of others and convinced that others are envious of them, and can come off as arrogant or haughty. No one person's experience is the same. Some people also experience anxiety and mood swings and other mental health disorders. Those around them may note that their ideas and needs may vary or contradict themselves. There are numerous factors that can contribute to the development of the disorder. Some that have been proposed are genetic factors, innate personality traits, and certain childhood experiences.
Wow.
These experiences could include abuse, rejection, or even being overly praised and admired for being special.
Yep.
NPD is one of the most stigmatized mental health disorders, mostly due to how
Y'all hear that? Mental health disorder.
the impairment of interpersonal and social skills impacts the people around them. However, it's important to remember that at the core of someone's internal experience, they may feel empty or numb, have intense feelings of shame, self-hate, or worthlessness, and immensely painful past experiences.
Wow.
Having the same level of respect and compassion towards those experiencing this disorder that you would have for someone experiencing any other mental illness is vital to destigmatizing this disorder.
But keep in mind too that, that's very dangerous too. So I disagree with that. You can't love them better. Like you can't just try to think like, yeah, I'll just go over there and try to, because you're not going to be able to connect with them. So I don't agree with trying to reach out to them if they're in one of these,
And
states.
paving the path towards more people getting the care they need. People living with personality disorders can and do benefit from treatment, which can include talk therapy, medication management, and more.
Yeah.
If you or someone you know, maybe
There's more people, self-aware narcissists. Oh, I am sharing. More self-aware narcissists out there that, are seeking help and actually, being able to manage it and,
living with narcissistic personality disorder, contact a behavioral healthcare provider to learn more about treatment options. If you are a mental...
All right. So I just wanted to show y'all that for the, we be on the same, I got some comments over here. Lena Renee, all right, definitely sounds like Derrick Jaxn. Yes, exactly. That's why I wanted to show these things together because these people are out there. They're at their jobs. There's narcissists at work. They're at church. They're all over. So the more you're able to, yeah, you had it right. The more you're able to identify these personality traits, you will save yourself a lot of pain because then you could avoid getting entangled with people like that because it's not going to be fun. Like for their divorce, he'll just do everything to make it hard, right? He'll make it seem like he wants to have custody of the kids so he can fight for everything and stuff like that and just keep her in a mentally broken down situation. So it's really rough if you, unfortunately get, you have children with the narcissist and y'all have to, co-parent together. It's going to be super difficult. It's going to be super difficult. And if you're not mentally intact, you haven't done the work to heal yourself, it may not be in your best interest to try to take on that job because healing from narcissistic abuse, emotional abuse is, it's difficult because it's not like if you were getting physically beat up where people could see, you got a black eye, a busted lip, we see things, we see that you've been beat up. But with these narcissists, the abuse is, mental, it's subtle, it's invisible. And oftentimes, the victim doesn't even know they're being abused. Like I'm sure that first video I showed y'all from 2 years ago with her sitting on the couch looking like a child that just got a spanking, a whooping, that's how we call it back in my day, and told to sit your butt here while I tell this story here and you better not open your mouth type of a situation, right? To now, because that's what they do. They do this emotional damage to you. And it's hard to identify yourself as a victim. So people get really tangled up in that. Yes, thank you so much, Amanda, for your comment. So our next video is going to be, it's going to be a reaction video to this person is the celebrity junk, but it's actually an O'Shea, another YouTuber. Maybe this is a second channel or something. But anyway, I kind of saw a few moments of it. So here we go. We're gonna.
I've been using the.
Oh, share that. Hold up. And let's get this one. This is going to be our last video to react to. And then I'm going to call it because do have another channel, and I go live on that one also. So I'm trying to share the love. Share the love. Here we go. This one's pretty interesting here. We have a lot to talk about.
Oh, that's good, everybody. It's your boy, O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another episode in years.
Oops.
When I came on to YouTube in 2015, he was
Sorry, y'all.
Derrick Jaxn has been a force in relationships at least the last 7 years. When I came on to YouTube in 2015, he was, I would say, even much more popular then with less subscribers. I always felt that the brother was a little dusty, didn't really reinvest into the business, and he just gave cookie cutter advice. And I knew that something was wrong with Derrick Jaxn, and I'm going to tell you how, because a few of the sisters exposed him for being rude to Black women. They said that he would do things such as call them weave heads and stuff like that. He's like saying really mean things and stuff, blocking them. And so, Derrick Jaxn got some mental issues going on there. That is something that
we just heard that
I heard about before. But now I never thought it would get this bad.
Oops.
To where Derrick Jaxn, who is married or was married to, nice young lady, Danae Jackson, leaving his wife for what appears to be an Instagram booty model. Yeah, this is the same guy who was always saying don't cheat and things like that. But again, he comes across Tasha K's desk, okay? And the young lady that he's dealing with is a lady by the name of Pinky Love. Now, I want to play.
Look at her face, y'all. Look at her face, right? She looks extremely happy. Like she just met her soulmate. We having the ball here. We living it up. Like she's feeling, I'm sure. Like, look at his face. He got the smirk on there, right? Because he know his wife's gonna see this. He know that he's about to embarrass her. He doing the smear campaign, y'all. That's what they do. This is called the smear campaign. and he know this is hurting her. He know this is just really just crushing her. Who wouldn't be hurt? Like if you bought into this whole thing about relationships and monogamy and all this stuff, you bought off into this whole marriage stuff, which his wife did, because we see her, being all holy roller and stuff. And then to have this thrown up in your face, this painful here. This painful.
Play a clip of Tasha K, because she's actually solved this issue. And then I'm going to come back and then we'll talk about it. I cannot believe this shit here.
Oh, thank you.
Come on in here real quick, y'all. Come on in here. Look at it. Look at it. Okay? Okay.
Well, I wasn't knowing there was going to be another person off into the video too to react to. Let's see here. Let me see what else I got. Hopefully I got a couple little short ones here, but Living Out Loud, I dropped that link for you because you always, you want something to say. Here's a place for you to say what you got to say. I know you have an opinion on this here. So let me see here. What is that? That's that same one there. Let's see here. I'm trying to find something short but interesting. Okay, we didn't like that one. We tried that one the other day. Oh, he said, "Child, I'm at work." Okay, good. It's good to see you. I know I'm just putting it out there for you because, I hear you, and I hear you. And I heard you too, and I really heard you. I heard you when you said that too, and it really was a light bulb for me, and it really helped me to do some stuff here too. I really appreciate your honesty, Living Out Loud. I really do. Thank you so much. You see, Living Out Loud said, "Hello, Treya. It's good to see you, and good to see you too. And thank you so much for stopping by." And if y'all haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe, because this here is the old channel, but it's a new channel because I'm resuscitating it and bringing it back to life here. So I think I've done all I'm going to do here, and I'm going to get ready to get ready. But I thank y'all so much for stopping by, and I will see y'all again. Like, these are test videos and stuff now, y'all. I'm going to be doing a lot of different testing to see where the energy is at, and where I can have a voice, and be effective and help. So just like I said, my passion is helping people. I've been a nurse my whole life, and healing is, more than just physical. It's also mental too. So I'm just grateful to have this opportunity to be able to lift my voice and help. So I'll see y'all later, and talk to y'all in another video. Peace and love and harmony and